Iqbal, BBC News, Washington.
For more, let's speak now to Mitchell Epner, a former federal prosecutor who served as assistant U.S. attorney for the District of New Jersey, where he handled cases involving sex trafficking. Sir, thank you very much for joining us this evening. Lots of famous people in these photos, as we've said, doesn't imply wrongdoing. President Trump doesn't seem to appear in a meaningful way. As a former prosecutor, is there anything that's been released in these files to go on?
So, Claire, thank you. And you're asking a good question, but the better question is, why is Donald Trump hiding everything? And he's either hiding things because he's got something awful to hide, or because he is being badly managed and doing the greatest impression in the world of somebody who has something awful to hide. The documents that were released yesterday are frankly an insult to the American public.
Now, the White House has said, that it is the most transparent in history. And I'm quoting here a spokesperson saying, by releasing thousands of pages of documents, cooperating with the House Oversight Committee's subpoena request, and Trump recently calling for further investigations, and now I'm not quoting anymore, but they are saying that the Trump administration's done much more for Epstein's survivors than the Democrats ever have.
So, Claire, I am positive that you accurately quoted them, and what they are saying is just plainly false. They said back in March that there was nothing left to prosecute. They claimed that they were handing over the binders, which turned out to be empty back then. They spent months fighting against this law to be passed. It was only when it was clear that it was going to pass that Trump finally released the Republicans after having them hide over the summer, taking the House out of session in order to avoid this law passing that required the release. And now they have released nothing new. I used to prosecute these cases. I know what should be released. There should be prosecution memos, declination memos, explanations of who was interviewed, what investigative steps were taken, not just a bunch of out-of-context photos and page after page of redacted documents. This is, and I'll say it again, just a horrific insult to the victims, to the American public, and frank core supporters who voted for the man on the claim that he was going to be the person who finally revealed what happened with Jeffrey Epstein.
And we are expecting more files to be released. The Deputy Attorney General said yesterday, many of the redactions were to ensure the privacy of victims, and that was also what was behind the delay in not meeting a legal deadline to release all the files. As someone who's worked on these cases, I want to ask you about the survivors of Epstein's abuse. What legal avenues are open to them at this point?
So, the right question now. The victims were horribly treated. I believe Zoom just crashed.
No, we hear you loud and clear.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So the victims were horribly treated. And unfortunately, Epstein died before they could get justice from him. His estate settled. On the civil side, it's going to be very hard to get any money. On the other hand, there is no statute of limitations on the criminal side. And I think that the victims want everybody who was a part of the abuse to be brought to criminal justice. So after the Trump administration, a future administration may go after additional wrongdoers, anybody from the President of the United States to a dog catcher.
Well, thank you so much for joining us with your legal insights today. We've been speaking with Mitchell Epner. I very much appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you very much.